So yesterday we talked about sacrifice, and you mentioned about the great sacrifice of the family of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, especially the Hussein, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was a great example of sacrifice, and he was a great example of martyrdom. We can look at this sacrifice, that how much the people love him today. How many million people they love to Hussein because what he did in his life, to give his life for the sake of Allah. And the one who was opponent for him, Yazid, how many people they like him and they love him? Nothing. He's a curse to his name become the curse. You know, in some Muslim countries, if you go to place of someone, the house of someone, and if you don't offer you the water, he don't offer you the water. You know what we call him? You are Yazid. So Yazid become a bad word today. If you go to someone's place and he don't offer you water, then we call him Yazid, because Yazid is a person who was stopped the water to family of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for 3 days. The family of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was not able to drink water for 3 days. And then the story begins from, we can start it from Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam time. When Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he started his message in Makkah to only worship one God and not the 360 gods. The people humiliated him, they tortured him, they prosecuted him and his companions, his family. And then there are people who followed him, numbers of people. And then they migrated to Medina, and when they migrated to Medina, and that time the Prophet ﷺ started to grow up. There were the first battle of Badr, then battle of Uhud, and battle of Ahzab. And then they were going to Mecca for pilgrimage, and they were denied. And that time the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ wanted to have a battle to them, because there were rumors that they killed his Safir, who went to bring the letter to Makkah. But it was not true, the news, and then Prophet did not push through with the war or the pilgrimage. Rather, he made that treaty with them, which is called the Sulh Hudaybiyah, or the Treaty of the Hudaybiyah. That makes a long year of peace, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was able to grow the numbers of Muslims until he was able to make an army of 10,000 soldiers and enter to Mecca without blood, without bloodshed. He was able to take over the Makkah. And that time, the leader of Makkah was Abu Sufyan. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was from Medina with the believers, and the Makkah leader was Abu Sufyan. And then Abu Sufyan, he surrendered and he became Muslim on the day of conquest of Makkah. And his son was Muawiyah. His wife was Hind, who was the one who killed the uncle of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and she mutilated the body of Hamza, bring out the liver and chew it with the anger of revenge. But Prophet Muhammad ﷺ forgiven her on day of conquest of Mecca. He did not take revenge to anyone. He forgiven everyone. And he said, La tasriba alaykumul yawm, there is no blame upon all of you. He said, I will do it what the Prophet Yusuf did to his brothers. I forgive you all. And he forgave Abu Sufyan also. So Abu Sufyan and his wife Hind, they were converted to Islam, and their son was Muawiyah. So after the Prophet was going back, he announced to Ali as his successor, and everybody accepted it. They pledged to Ali that he will be going to be a successor of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But during the time when the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam died, after some time, and then Ali was preparing for his burial and everything, and that time there was a chance of a coup from the Ansars, from the people of Medina. So Umar radiallahu anhu, he make a wisdom, and he let Abu Bakr Siddiq to take the oath. And Umar is the first one to oath him. Why? So there will be no division among the Muslims. So there will be no disunity. So he wanted to unite, and he pledged to Abu Bakr, and he let everyone to pledge to Abu Bakr. And later they informed to Ali, and after some hesitation, Ali, he accepted, and he pledged to Abu Bakr Siddiq. And there was no problem at all. So now why people are trying to say that there was a conflict and Ali was supposed to be Khalifa? No. Ali accepted, so we should accept also. And then later when Abu Bakr Siddiq died, the Umar became the Khalifa, because Abu Bakr Siddiq appointed Umar as the next Khalifa. And Ali accepted, Ahl Bayt accepted. Everyone accepted. So who we are. And then later, before the Umar, when he was attacked by a Persian, Firoz, his name was Firoz. And now when Umar was about to be died, he gave the team of 6 people and to choose from these 6 one Amir, the Khalifa. And these 6 people was Usman and Ali, Talha and Zubair, and 2 more people were there. And the Muslim, they choose Usman and Ali choose, he accepted, Ahlul Bayt accepted, so there is no problem that Usman become the Khalifa now. And the 3 occasions, Ali did not make any objection to these 3 Khalifa, and that is a great honor of Ali, that even though he was appointed as a successor, but he led them to go to become Khalifa, and that is the sabr of Ali, and that is the greatness of Ali, that no greedy for him to become a ruler. Rather, he gave the way for 3 Khalifa, Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, to become Caliph, and it was supposed to be him because the Prophet Muhammad, he appointed him as a successor. So that is a great honor of Ali, that 3 occasions, he did not make any objection for 3 different rulers, and he accepted them, and he placed them, all of them. And then later, the people, the Khawarij, they killed Osman, and Ali was chosen to be a Caliph, and he became Khalifa, but that is the time of the start of the conflict among the Muslims, when the Muawiyah in Sham, in the land of Sham, which is Palestine, Syria, Jordan, and Lebanon, he refused to take place to Ali by saying that Ali should take the revenge of Usman killers first, then I will bear. And that is not right, because Ali should get the power before he can implement any law. So now Ali has to wage the war against Muawiyah not to destroy the unity of the Muslims. So he went with the army and he fought in Sham with Muawiyah and his army. And that time one of the prophecy of the Prophet Muhammad was come true, that the Prophet said, the Ammar bin Yasir, you will be killed by the rebels, who will be rebellion to the Islamic State, the government of Islam, the rule of Islam. And the Ammar bin Yasir was in the camp of Ali, and he was killed by the army of Muawiyah. So it becomes true that Muawiyah was wrong, radiallahu anhu, because he was supposed to give place to Ali and to accept him as Khalifa. Then Ali can take the revenge for the killers of Usman. But when Ali was about to surrender to Muawiyah in the war and about to win the war, and almost won the war, the camp of Muawiyah, they raised the Quran, and they said, let's make the hukum of Quran. Let's make the judgment with the Quran. So Ali stopped the war right away. And he said, no, I cannot continue the war because they are my brothers and they are willing to surrender according to the book of Allah. And that time when there was a negotiation between the 2 armies, one of the Khawarij, he came to the masjid in Kufa and he hit on the head of Ali with the sword, and all his head was bleed, and Ali was about to murder. And he said that if I die, only this person should be qisas to my life, and it will be taken by my son Hassan. No one else will be harmed beside him. And as long as there is no judgment yet, give him the food and give him the comfortable bed to sleep. And then he did not appoint anyone as like his son to be Khalifa, but he led the Muslims to decide who is going to be Khalifa. So he died, and his son Hassan who qisas for his father to that murderer, the Khawarij. And then the people choose Hassan to be Khalifa. Now Hassan, he waged the war, because there was no negotiation successful. So Hassan wanted to wage the war against Muawiyah with a giant army. And then he think that it might bloodshed of hundreds of thousands of Muslims. So he made compromise with Muawiyah and he gave it to him the rule. Say, let's rule with the book of Allah, with the way of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I give you to the rule too. And then he makes some conditions to follow. And after that, that great act of Hassan made a great time of peace for 20 years. Muawiyah, he ruled with peace for 20 years, and Islamic rule was expanded to Europe and Asia and Africa. So that we are not going to make any objection against Muawiyah, because Ahlul Bayt accepted the Muawiyah, Hassan and Hussein accepted the Muawiyah, so who we are. Now Later, the people who killed to Ali, they also killed to Hassan with the poison because they don't like him to step down and give Muawiyah the way to be ruled, the Islamic government. So they killed him with the poison. And then later, after the Muawiyah died, the Yazid took over the monarchy rule, which is against Islam. Because Islam, there is no monarchy, but it should be the Muslim to choose the right leader. And that time, the Hussein stand up against the unjust rule of Yazid, because Yazid was tyrant, unjust, unfair, drunkard, gambler, and corrupt, who was not giving the rights to the people. So he stand up for the rights of the people against unjust Yazid, and only he can say one word, I accepted Yazid as my Khalifa, then he can save his life and the family's life and the friend's life. But he chose to stand for the right and not to surrender to the evil, and he gave his life, included all his loved ones, except the women who were survived, but they were all imprisoned, and one of his sons was survived, whose name was Ali Awsat or Imam Zainul Abidin. So that is a great story of this great man Hussein and his family, who were the family of the Prophet Muhammad, that they give the great sacrifice for the sake of Allah, and they are alive in Jannatul Firdaus, in paradise, and they are alive in our hearts today. We love them very, very much for those family of the Prophet Muhammad, the Hassan, the Hussein, the Ali, and the Prophet Muhammad and all his family. May Allah, peace be upon Prophet Muhammad and his family, as he peace and blessings upon the family of Prophet Ibrahim and his family.